give everybody a few minutes just to pop on. Hope everybody's having, making the best of this. I'm sure that we are. We are all leaders in our own right, in our home, in our community. And this is such a great forum that we're opening up this platform. I so honor Sarah and the No Team for putting us back on Facebook. It seems like, at least with my demographics, I'm almost 50, it works better for me. And I love this too. I think this is so great that we can actually talk to each other. So we're just so lucky to have this platform to communicate. And I'm looking forward to actually going full in for as long as I have. I have about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. So to whet your appetite to talk about what we're going to do in this time of uncertainty and how we actually can add joy. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's 2:00 on the nose, and I'm very happy that I am on time. I am Sandy Sembler, and I have created this program called Sacred She and Date Intentionally. And essentially, what that's done is allowed us to be in this embodiment space. We're all boss babes here. We're all powerhouses. And I could sit here and talk to you about all the ways to be top performers, high performers. We already know how to do that. Right now, the reason why I was talking to Sarah about the ability to come online is that in this time of uncertainty, obviously this is huge what we're happening right now, because it's not just in our community, it's actually all over the world. I mean, where else could we actually say that something's happening all over the world, we're all connected. So if you ever doubted we were connected, we're all connected. I'm gonna try to move so I can actually, wow, here we are. So first off, what I want everyone to do is I just want you to close your eyes, unless you're driving, of course, put your feet on the floor. And I want you to just let out some air, just as much as you can. Then I want you to actually hold that for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I want you to inhale again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. And then exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Wow. Let me say that again. Hello, I'm Sandy Sembler, and I've created these programs called Sacred She and Date Intentionally. And what we do is we actually use embodiment practices to essentially heal everything that's going on in this body. It takes all the feelings that are going on in our brain and this beautiful monkey brain that we have that allows us to be safe. It allows us to create. It allows us to actually, do all the things that we do, which is amazing. The thing is, though, is we're always living in our head. What happens is that our whole body doesn't get to experience the fullness of what I believe God gave us to do here on earth. So I love the fact that we can actually talk about that here and use the coronavirus as a way to put us together. Excuse me. But this isn't any situation. It may be tax time. Your kids, you may have found out that they have to repeat school. It may be you're about to do a big presentation. Oh my goodness, you might be going through a divorce. Whatever it is, we want to, understand that we actually do have some control over how we show up. And I don't like to use the word control, because when we use control, it keeps us into a box. So I want to actually just share today, and there's so much I could share. I mean, I love talking about masculine and feminine energies, how we can use them all to actually be powerhouses, but also be powerhouses at home from a more vulnerable space. But I'm not going to do that today. That's later. Right now, I just want to talk about how we can find joy in every moment too. So I was going to actually, put on a dress and do the things and be here in my home office. But when I got out of the car today from actually coming home from running an errand, I had my puppy with me, and I got out of the car, and I actually had, my husband came out to greet me so he could help me move some things in. And I actually had this on, and I'm just going to stand up. You may think this is silly. What does this have to do? But I actually had these jean shorts on, and he looked at me and he went, wow, Do you have any idea how happy I am to see you and how much I love those shorts? And it made me giggle, it made me laugh, and it enlightened and it ignited something deep inside of my gut. And I thought, wow, you know what? I'm going to use this as a teaching moment, which if you guys know me, you know that I make every moment a teaching moment if I can. My motto is how we do anything is how we do everything. And so I saw, you know what? Let's just talk about that. We're all at home. And whether you're in partnership or not, or maybe your partner's actually not quarantined in the house with you, there are ways that we can actually add value and add joy. So me having these jeans on, great. And you know what? I kind of like them too, because it ignites the little girl in me. It brings the little girl back to me. And so I think that's really important too. You know, what embodiment is, people always ask me, what it is that you actually do? I help women live a joy-filled life, attract abundance, and fully embody the relationships that they've always desired. I mean, all relationships, not just in business, not just with your partner, not just when you want to attract your partner, even with your kids. I mean, everybody. Since I've been doing this practice, oh my goodness, I mean, I have a different relationship with my son, you know, with my stepkids, with everyone that I meet, because I want to show up in my fullness. And when we actually get out of our head, get into our hearts, which I'm sure many of you have heard, you know, we actually can show up so full. And so with the Date Intentionally program, what we do is we go through these processes to heal all the childhood patterns that actually maybe have allowed us to pick, you know, our picker was off, so to speak, and we're picking up partners that didn't serve us. But actually, the truth is that they did. Because everything happens the way it's supposed to, because again, our brain's made to make us safe, not happy. So even when we show up and we're not quite sure why the same situation keeps showing up, it's because our brain's running patterns to recreate a moment that is similar, that is the same, so it can be safe. What I love to do, and what my teachers have helped me with, is to expand our nervous system. And so embodiment practice actually will allow you to connect better to earth, connect better to yourself, connect better to your pleasure. What you're going to find is that when you're disconnected, we actually are experiencing more shallow breath. And when we're breathing from here up, which if you guys stop for a minute, you know, if we hadn't have done that box breath, maybe you're going to find that you're breathing from here up, which is fine. The thing is, though, do you know that that's actually the fight or flight breath? Say that 3 times fast. Fight or flight breath. So what's going on with that is that if we're constantly running this program, that this beautiful brain of ours that God gave us is like, keep them safe, keep them safe, keep them safe. It doesn't know that we're not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Because by the way, the coronavirus is a saber-toothed tiger. Going through a divorce, saber-toothed tiger. So what we want to do is actually train our nervous system, train it to be able to allow these things to go on around us, and we actually still stay in flow. So whenever we're breathing shallow, you know, our chest is tight, we're living in our head, we're totally disconnected from all the gifts around us, completely disconnected. And that may seem kind of base. It's like, yeah, well, what do we do about that? Well, what, you know, you can do, you can actually put your hand on your heart, put your hand on your belly, and feel, are you actually taking a breath in and letting it go all the way down to our beautiful bellies? I know many of us are trying to keep the flat belly, but you know what? Actually allow your belly to expand and let all the breath sit there, and then blow it back out. You know, blow it back out. The box breath breathing is so great, and it's so easy. You can actually use it at home with your kids. It literally is the 4. You know, breathe in, 4, breathe and hold, breathe out, 4, hold. And then you breathe in. You keep repeating that. That actually will give you a lot of groundedness there. So what we want to do is we're going to take our feelings from our head and move it through our body, You know, if you're like me, I mean, I experienced this morning joy, rage, happiness, bliss, orgasm, and fear, the oh my God, and WTF, and, you know, couldn't find the phone charger, at the, you know, all the things. And you know what? All of that pretty much happened within like 5 minutes. And I love the feminine and masculine, you know, teaching, because what in the feminine, when we're in flow, it doesn't mean everything's just light and airy and we're not experiencing anything. It actually means that we're sometimes messy. It actually means that sometimes things just aren't going to be perfect. And that actually adds color and vibrancy to our world. It actually does that. So what I want to talk about here is, which I have, is joy in every moment. What can you do just looking around your environment right now? Find something that brings you joy. Think about something that brings you joy, and you actually bring it deep into your body. And how that appears is, it could be, maybe you get pom poms. Maybe you actually, draw something. Our neighborhood, child came over and gave cookies, and we were 6 feet apart. And her mom's like, "It's okay." She came over and she actually drew here. She drew this heart on me with this paint. And, I just smiled and said, "You know what? I'm going to keep it on all day." And I know I'm here for a business meeting, but the truth is, as successful as I've been in all of my businesses, I have to say, it's so much more enjoyable when I can actually live in the body and see pleasure all around me and show up from that place of fullness. So the groundedness piece is super important, because what happens is that when we're grounded, we still can be in this feminine space. We actually will stand up taller, but we also can have this color of light. So there's a misnomer out there that we can't be successful if we're not like in this get it done, get it done, get it done mode, and we're not speaking in a staccato cadence. The truth is that the feminine is all about abundance. It is all about abundance. And so that doesn't mean you have to be, submissive. It doesn't mean that you have to, be an airhead. The feminine actually is this beautiful place that nurtures yourself, nurtures other people, and it actually nurtures the world, if I really, want to be honest with you. So the practices that I'm going to talk about right now is the box breathing, of course. There's other things that you can do actually that just set up your day. And so for you gals that, get up in the morning and immediately go into your to-do list, what I'm going to ask of you is, maybe on your to-do list, why don't we fold in like a 5-minute mat practice or a 5-minute dance practice, where you actually put on some music that you are, getting able to touch yourself and actually touch your face and touch your hair and maybe touch your bum. And you're laid out on the mat to where you give yourself permission for 5 minutes to listen to some yummy music. It doesn't have to be soft music. It can actually be rageful music. Because listen, when you're not letting out those emotions, they're living in your body. And there's proof that when things get trapped in your body, it causes disease. So when we're moaning and crying and wailing and screaming, sometimes when we're on our mat practice, or maybe in our car having a conversation with our steering wheel, what we're doing is we're clearing out the channel of the central spinal column to create and communicate clearly. So the angry places get cleared, so your life can allow more space, so more love can come in. So more love can come in. One of the reasons why I personally believe this whole Corona thing is happening is because we always are asking for more time with our family, more time with our spouse, what's going on in this crazy world. Well, guess what? Now we're getting what we want. And I also want to say that for some of you that might be single and might not be in relationship, this may be a lonely time as well. So really what I want to suggest to you is, use this time at home. Yes, clean out your closets and do all those things that I'm sure you've had in a million emails where people are giving their value add and what they're suggesting. I agree. What I'm inviting you to do, I'm inviting you to, whether you use my playlist that's going to be offered, or if you're going to actually have your own. But if you're angry and you're listening to like an Eminem song, show your anger. Take a bat and beat the crap out of one of your couches. Whatever you need to do to get it out. And what's going to happen, the tears may flow or anger may come. Let it come, because you're not going to stay there forever, guys. You're just not. But what's going to happen is that you're going to be expanded to allow more love to come into your body. So, wow, there's so much more I want to share. There's so much more I want to say, but this is just to whet your appetite a little bit. And so hopefully I'll giving you some tools so you can just be thrilled. So today I invite you to look around. What can you do to add more joy? Not for everybody else. Right now it's about you. Put the oxygen mask on yourself. Where can you add joy? Is it wearing those cutoff jeans and you're at a business meeting like now? Maybe you know that you like Pom Poms. I actually, whenever I'm feeling like I'm hard on myself, or I have clients that don't know how to receive praise, I actually will send them through Amazon a pair of Pom Poms. Hold on a second. And so I have these Pom Poms and literally show them how they can actually cheer themselves on. I know it sounds silly, but trust me, guys, this stuff works. It really does work. For us to actually cultivate joy, cultivate pleasure, cultivate how are we eating our sandwich? How are we going to bed at night? Are we putting our head on the pillow gently? Or are we just, I gotta go to bed and gotta go to bed? So we could talk about meditation, and will offer a meditation that you guys can have for free. So you can go through this practice I'm talking about, where I'm going to guide you through a mat practice with my music, and it's going to actually allow you to feel the sadness, the joy, the rage, the eroticism. All of that will be there. Didn't have time to do that now, and decided I would do that later. But I wanted just to let you know that, remember, we want everything to go from this beautiful, gorgeous noggin and brain that God gave you, and we want everything to go flowing through your body. And we're better for the world for allowing that. And there's embodiment practices for men as well, by the way. Right now I'm talking to you women because we're in the no tribe, right? If we're doing an embodiment practice for the masculine, which you'll experience in this mat practice, it's going to be more of a stillness. And then you're going to hear the music, and then you're going to actually draw in, more energy from around, because the feminine is all about energy. All the weather's energy. That's why it's called Mother Earth, because we're supposed to be moving. There's even a way when you guys are in a meeting, even if you're in a meeting on Zoom, which I know all of us are. I would have bought stock in Zoom. Is that there's a way that you can actually be sitting here, and you can actually do this, and you can slowly just start moving in a little circle, as small as you can, as you're talking, as you're leading all the people around the world. And the more we move in circular movement, girls, the more oxytocin is actually released in our brain, the happier that we feel. And the feminine needs to move. So if you're pent up, or you're finding that your man is like, you're arguing and bickering, it's probably because you're not living in your true nature, which is to flow and to be free. Even if that means you take a 2-minute break and you just dance around and you just get kind of crazy. I know this seems weird. I have owned other businesses in the banking industry, and I was a business coach forever. And then after my intervention with Tony Robbins 6 years ago, after yet another failed relationship, where he pointed out that I was walking in this masculine space and I wasn't giving men the opportunity to lead me. And I realized it all came from fear. So as we wrap up, I just wanted to make sure my team was like, you have to make sure that you share this. There's so much more that I can talk about. I'm actually going to be doing a free masterclass, in a week or so. I want to make sure you guys get this meditation that I'm talking about. I also want to make sure that you get this playlist. I'd love for us to talk a little bit. For all of my No Tribe, as I always have, I always get 10% off for all the programs. But really the key is I want you guys to find pleasure. Tonight, I invite you, eat with your hands. Tonight, I invite you, when you get home to your family, or you're already home, turn the computer off. And I want you to skip through the dining room, skip in front of the kids watching TV, skip to your partner. And if you're alone, skip. It'll allow yourself to feel joyful. Can you be angry and skip at the same time? It's kind of like saying bubbles. You can't say bubbles and be angry at the same time either. So listen, I love this. I hope you guys would join me for the masterclass. I hope you check me out in all the other places, or just please send me a message. I love helping women live in their fullness. I love it. I love to keep relationships together because they actually understand more of who they are, and they understand men a little bit better. But mostly what I want is for us to do what God intended us to do, which is actually be here, living our purpose, but live our purpose with such vibrancy that we are enchanting to every single person that we meet, not just the person that we want to attract as our lover, but I mean everyone that we meet. And there are tips to that. If you would have told me 6 years ago that I'd be doing this now, I said, what are you talking about? I am feminine. Look at me. I'm a girl. But I wasn't. And I was living in fear. My mom raised me not to trust men. And so I was actually living that out over and over again. So I'm going to close out now. I know the girls want me to make sure that I'm within 20 minutes. So I think I'm pretty close. By the way, the feminine, actually, there's not really a timing zone. That's why we have to harness both sides, the masculine and the feminine, because it all lives within us. So I'm not saying you always have to be just light and airy and never, ever, ever be structured. There's an art form. That's why I call it the art of intimacy. So anyway, I'm Sandy. I'm so happy to talk to you guys here. I hope that I get to hear you, see you on the masterclass. Have any questions, just text me. If you have any songs, you're like, add this to your playlist, let me know. But I can't wait for you guys to show up today differently than maybe you did this morning. It's time. This reorganization is going to add so much abundance to our world because it's clearing things out, guys. It's clearing things out to add more joy and more light. And so I want to say this too. There's going to be a lot of opportunity, financial opportunity after this downfall. There's going to be opportunity where you need to feel a need. And don't feel bad and don't feel guilty that you may actually be, walking in abundance while some people might be suffering. But if your story needs to be told, please tell it. If your story needs to be told, please tell it. And we all have a story within us and it needs to be shared. It needs to be shared. So anyway, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, all of you, for giving me the opportunity to be here. I'm looking forward to talking to you again in the future. And God bless. Stay safe. And for goodness sakes, wash your hands. Talk to you soon. Bye.